video with me on a beautiful day. Hashtag Team All Blade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Come on in, throw me a soupy smile, and all I gotta say is squad goals. Thank you for being here, for clicking today's video, and for joining me. Hopefully wherever you're watching from, you're drinking something delicious, you're sitting in a comfy chair, and you're ready for a shave. You know I am. Today I'm so excited. We've got just over 48 hours of growth. We're gonna be knocking it down with the brand new, just barely releasing Parker SoloEdge safety razor. This is a brass handled zinc head, just under 100 grams and just under 4 inches of length safety razor, being designed and developed and released underneath the Parker line of razors. I am super excited. It's coming in at just under $40, and it will be releasing, I believe, globally over on the Amazon platform along with their own website. You can kind of support our channel and use the link below to get it when it does release. I am really excited to be talking about how the razor performs. I'm kind of showing you guys, similarly how I think it looks aesthetically compared to what's existed, and what's been created, and also showcase it next to some of the razors. I think, the other people would be interested in seeing it side by side. I am really excited to see this razor come out. I love single edge safety razors, and this is another one that kind of is releasing, provides an angle, right? It actually creates the existing angle for you. I think it is going to allow newcomers that have never experienced a single edge safety razor to kind of dip their feet in without spending a ton of money, and also kind of to get an idea of, do I enjoy this? Do I like having a preset angle? How does it feel? And I honestly really think that the natural angle to this and the intuitiveness is all there. I am really excited. Huge shout out to Parker Razors for allowing us to do the showcase and spotlight on their brand new product. The photography that I did with it, everything about the razor, it just speaks like, I think it looks premium, even though it has a very cost-minded budget price. Awesome razor. Really excited for this one again, and thrilled to be doing the spotlight and review. Thanks for joining me for it. Today we're going to be using another one of those products that's available on Amazon through Howie. This is their shave cream and after splash. We've got the Tequila lime and Lavender lime. I really like these. They're very accommodating on the price. It's like $15 for the shave cream, and I just really think that's a fair price for the amount that you get. It's 4 ounces, and what I'm using it for is I used it as a pre-shave and as the lather product today. The smell on this, it's herbaceous, it's green, and it's very lime forward. This, for me, it smells like you're getting a high-end drink. It does have projection to it, but I noticed as soon as I lathered it up, it almost kind of dissipated just a little bit. So it almost is like more like a backup product is how I would see it. I wouldn't see it as a standalone scent, if that makes sense, but I think it works really well as if you're trying to highlight a nice fragrance with lime in it. The Lavender lime is herbaceous. That's all I can say about it is it's super herbaceous, really green, really bright. It has a nice floral presence to it, and on the skin, it's very soothing. That's one of the things they talk about with their all natural line, is that it's a very soothing on the skin. There's no alcohol to it. It just makes your skin feel nourished and really soft. I really like this, and again, the price is very accommodating for somebody again that wants to dip their feet into the kind of the world of wet shaving without breaking the budget. I like seeing products like this come out that have a high performance and a high cost value to them. Awesome stuff from Howie. Again, this is their Lavender lime. We're going to be using their Tequila lime after shave cream as both a pre-shave product and a shave cream product. And let me show you the lather today. What I tried to do, and I hope it's helpful. I don't know if everybody's going to love how I did this, but I actually kind of went through the different phases of the lather as I was lathering. I'll have that going right here. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to try to slow down in the parts that I think make sense, but honestly how it worked is I went through, and as I was adding water to it, I slowed it down so you could see how the lather builds. So if you're a person that likes a thicker lather, this was able to generate it. I was actually able to get some really thick stuff, and then as I added water, right, I was able to get it a little bit creamier, a little slicker, and then I got it to the point where I like it, which is like almost runny, right? That's my preference. Really shiny, where you can almost see your reflection in it. No bubbles, just really thick and really shiny. That's the way I enjoy it personally, but I don't want to preach. I don't want to say that my way is the only way or my lather is perfect, because it's not, and it's not going to be perfect for everybody else. I did like the product, and I did think I got a really good coverage and actual thickness, and we're going to see for protection, but overall I've been really impressed with that. I've never used it before, and that's why I kind of wanted to use the different stages so everybody could see if they could get the lather to how you like it personally, right? That's all I was trying to do. I hope that was helpful. Let's get in here and start some shaving with the brand new SoloEdge. Now, it's a razor razor for me, as soon as I saw it out of the box, I thought to myself, man, that looks real similar to the Micromatic. And I know this is using a gem razor blade, right? But the head cap, the angle, everything about that razor and this razor, like, it just spoke to me. I was like, oh, that looked really familiar to the original gem Micromatic with their solid bar, right? Now, keep in mind, this is, I don't know if that's, taken from their design, but this is a two-piece razor where that's a single-piece razor. I also wanted to grab some of the other razors like the Shield Stomper that I love, also uses a half DE razor blade, and kind of showcase the different angle. Do you see how the brand new Parker SoloEdge gives you a very, very specific set angle that's beveled in with that face, where the Shield razor really doesn't. You have a lot more angle manipulation with that razor than you do with this one. I feel like this is a very specific angle, like the Leaf Thorn. As you look at the Leaf Thorn here compared to the SoloEdge, I believe it's very similar as far as the way it shaves on the angle and how it shaves on the skin. For me, this was a very, very similar to like a medium aggressive razor, very, very similar to a medium aggressive, but for me, the performance is high efficiency. It's not a razor that I would say, you can buff over and over and over again with, because it definitely has some kick and it has some performance. Now, it doesn't have a ton of blade fill. Like it's not super maximum blade fill. Kind of like the YATES for me was this is the YATES, the Taconic razor. This for me was a very, 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 it had a lot of bite to it. It definitely had some fill to it, whereas this one doesn't. It has like a lot less fill than the YATES razor. And then what I did is I grabbed some of the other vintage razors that I love, and this is the Shake Sharp. I absolutely love this razor. You shake it like this, and the bar moves to strop your double-edged safety razor. I know everybody loves the vintage era, but I wanted to showcase how similarly these razors are, because when I saw this razor was kind of teased out, right? Parker, what they did is they kind of showcased it a little bit. There's a lot of questions about, why they went with the head design, why it's so large. And for me, I think it really kind of speaks tribute to some of the older razors like the Pen, right? It looks very similar to me to some of those old single edge, especially the two-piece ones like the Christie, right? This is a two-piece razor. If you look at them side by side, they set that angle. It was a very specific angle, and it was designed to kind of allow the shaver to not have to worry about specifying and doing the angle themselves. I like single edge razors for that reason. I think they're very newcomer friendly because of that, right? They set the angle for you. You're not guessing. You're not trying to figure out, am I at the right 30 degree? It's going to do it all for you. At least it's supposed to. And I like that. The assembly process, I actually got to do a small little video for Parker, which I'm just so proud of. And I'm very humbled that they would allow me to do that. It's the first time I'd ever tried that. So hopefully everybody, I'm going to release it on the channel. We'll go over and give that a watch. I did kind of do like a more hands-on, more professional styled video on how to load the Parker single edge or the SoloEdge razor. It's very easy to load. All you're going to do is you're going to make sure to stabilize that blade with the head cap as you're screwing it together. But it's like, it's dummy proof. To be really honest, I've even noticed if I had the blades kind of cantered a little bit, the head cap will actually reset that blade and put it into place, which I really like. Now, it doesn't have magnets like some of the other razors to hold the blade in place, but for me, I've not really experienced the blade coming off too much. It seems very intuitive. They did mention to me, and I'm not sure if anybody else has ever tried this, but adding a little water to your blade and then setting it down helps kind of like hold it in place. Kind of an interesting concept. We're going to start some shaving here. I hope that's helpful. That's kind of the stuff that I've been finding with the SoloEdge. As far as a razor for the dome shaving, right? I like single edge razors for this one reason. They allow me to not worry about shaving a circular surface and worrying about the 30-degree angle at different angles, especially that I can't see, right? I was talking to my buddy who's shaving his head just recently. He's a more novice head shaver, right? Shaved his face for a long time, but he's a more novice head shaver. He reached out to me. He said, I've been watching you for about 2 years now, and I just barely started shaving my head, which I was really thankful for. I said, thanks for watching me even when you weren't shaving your head. But he said, for me, the back of my neck is the hardest space because you can't see it, right? And I totally understand that. There's like an unfamiliarity, even if you've been shaving your face, with not being able to see the razor. And this razor like this, I think is an awesome razor because it allows for you to set that angle without being able to see it. It has a longer handle. It does have that almost 4-inch length handle, so you can kind of grip it down here when you're trying to shave back here and not like have to adjust your angle super extreme. I've noticed with really small razors, shaving the back of my head, I have to kind of hold it like this and then really finagle my wrist to make the angle work. Whereas the Parker SoloEdge, you don't have to do that, right? There's some of those things with double-edged safety razors that I've kind of just learned to work around, whereas single-edge razors, I don't have that issue. Now, as far as the angle goes, I want to talk a little bit about angle on this razor. For me, it's shaving very sweet right at that angle as the cap meets the blade. You see that? Now, what I'm not doing is sitting my skin really high up here. I'm not using what you would consider like the early gem, like the 1912 styled angle, where it's very, like you set it right to the skin, like as far as the back of it, and use a very shallow angle. I'm not doing that. Mine is more steep. It reminds me almost of how I shave with the 1924 or the Gem Micromatic. That's why I kind of laughed about the Gem Micromatic, because it shaves very similar to me as far as the angle goes. Now it's much, I don't want to cause any grief here. I don't want to have any pitchforks and fires, but for me, it's a smoother razor. The Micromatic, I know that's words for war, right? Saying I like it more. Now, it's not maybe a more thing, but I do think this is a bit smoother and a lot less blade fill. And for me, it's a very approachable razor. Now, when I was working with her and Howie, they're really able to sit and kind of talk to them and kind of give them some feedback on how I felt the performance was. And what they asked me is if I felt like the razor was really aggressive. I don't think the razor is super aggressive. What I think it is very efficient. Now, there's a difference between aggressive and efficient. I mention it all the time, but I do want to mention it again if you're a person that's never watched our channel before and you're coming in just for this review. For me, there's a massive difference between a razor that shaves really, really aggressive, right? It feels very sharp on your skin and it feels like it's going to bite you every single pass. Whereas efficiency is kind of different. It is actually how effectively it knocks down the stubble and how fast it knocks down the stubble, right? A very mild razor, a very inefficient razor is going to take like 5 or 6 passes, right? Whereas a very, very, very efficient razor, right? Even if it doesn't have any blade fill to it, is going to take only like half a pass, 2 passes, and you'll be really smooth. This for me sits in the more very, very, very efficient without having a ton of blade fill, which I actually kind of prefer. I like razors that are very offset that way, where you don't have a ton of blade fill, but you get all the performance of a razor that would. Now, again, the angle for me is really easy to do. It's very nice and smooth as far as the against the grain stroke, but I do want to call out the size of the head is going to make shaving around your ears just a little bit more tricky. You kind of have to angle it and go in against the space and then up. That's how I'm finding with the razor. As you can see, it is doing absolute work on our 48 hours, giving me a very smooth, very elegant shave. Again, I used that shave cream I've never used before as a pre-shave product, which I really like. It's a kind of a trick that I saw some other people do a couple of years back where they were taking shave cream and using it as a pre-shave. I like it a lot that way. And then what I did is I just put the shave cream right on top of it. So I kind of double stacked the product. And I actually really thought that worked well. And it performed really well. The shave itself has been protective. It's been close. And I can tell you this, I don't have any irritation, no nicks, stings, or problems. Nothing right in that lather whatsoever. Just soap and stubble. Such a good shave, awesome, close, comfortable. I would definitely put it up there with things like, I think that as far as the thorn goes, the thorn's much smaller. The actual razor itself is a lot smaller, right? The angle is much different. But if you were to compare it with closing your eyes after the shave, post shave, I think they're very similar. I think the shave I get from it is very, very close. Very comfortable, very easy. The product, again, it is brass and ZMAC product. I did hear some people saying that they wish they had followed their same thing that they did with their injector razor and gone stainless. But I can see with this design, it probably was really difficult to shape this in stainless. I honestly, I could understand that. And I think that the price point, right, it allows people to come in and try a single edge safety razor underneath the $50 price point, right? It's only like $40. So I think that is actually really accommodating, especially compared to other razors that are like $70 on the market, 60, 70, all the way up. I mean, this, I think it falls at the lower end of the spectrum, and I think it shaves equally with some of the higher end ones in the spectrum. This was really nice, really comfortable. As you can see, we got right against the ear and all the way smooth. Very close. Oh, it's super nice on the skin. I like how my skin feels super soft and really comfortable, right? Feels very touchable. That's all I can say. Very touchable. Got a little bit of this splash. Again, this is an alcohol-free splash, so there's no burn to it, no sting to it. And all it does is kind of go in and soothes. And I like this. It's a very soothing scent on top of that. Again, I don't think it's going to have like even an hour's length of projection. For me, it's going to be more of like a nice complementary scent, right? Just kind of balance and add add a little something extra to your EDT or your EDP for the day. Again, beautiful shave, very close, super comfortable, really easy going. For me, it's like probably a 3 or 4 on blade fill and a 5 or 6 on performance. It's essentially as efficiency goes. I really like that. I think it's a close shaver, and I think it's one that most people that if they've never experienced a single edge safety razor would actually really enjoy. Again, the Parker SoloEdge safety razor, it's going to be releasing here shortly. I'm really excited that you joined me for it. Thank you again for being here. If you haven't, please go below, smash that sub button. I'd love to talk to you guys in the comments. And until I see you then, soups out.